James Melendez, thank you for joining me on my show today. We have this lovely Utopia. This is called Paradise Ribbon Ridge AVA Pinot Noir 2016 vintage. Stay tuned and I'll tell you more about this lovely wine. So exquisite wine. I love Oregon Pinot Noir and especially Ribbon Ridge AVA. So Ribbon Ridge AVA, I'll put a map right here so you can see where it is. I think it's really important to see where your wines are being sourced from. Now this is a small AVA, about 3,500 acres in total, only 500 planted to vine. Now northeast of here is Chehalem Mountains. To the southwest is another large AVA called Yamhill Carlton. I'm sure you're familiar with all these AVAs. So expressing these wines in terms of, say, the clonal identity and what it's bringing to the particular vintage and how it's expressing in terms of the glass and aging over time. There's so many things that unfold with Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir to me is just a magical variety, and of course it's, I'm not the only person to speak highly of it, of course, but there's so many things about it that has a diversity of, say, scent and flavor profiles. And that comes through in terms of like things that wouldn't necessarily sound like they're good together. That is spice to floral to earth notes. And so when you put all these together and you come up with a very splendid, and of course it's in one experience, that is on the palate, you're getting a dynamic taste of, say, coffee notes all the way up to rose petal and cherry and pepper. It seems like how do all these work together? And yet they do. And that's the beauty of Pinot Noir, and that's why it's such an alluring wine. One of the oldest wine varieties out there, actually. I've asked Carol Meredith, I said, what is the oldest wine grape variety out there? And she says it's probably Pinot Noir, but of course, there's no specific way of knowing that is the case. There's no way of maybe historical pottery shards that could identify that, but then one could find another pottery shard of another variety and that could update that. So there's really no definitive way of knowing. We know a lot of writings and they might allude to a certain wine that sounds like Pinot Noir, but was it really? But somehow there's something very pleasing about it, and there's something unstable about the genetic nature of Pinot Noir. That is, it descends into so many clonal identities very, very rapidly. There's no other variety that has so many clones as Pinot Noir does. So this wine is containing 3 clones: Wadenswil, 777, and Pommard. Wadenswil you see quite a bit in Oregon, you see very little in California, and you definitely see a lot in the old world, Switzerland, Germany. And I think this is a really outstanding wine because of that clonal identification, that clonal identity. What comes together in the glass is a remarkable set of complexities that are truly easy to enjoy. Now this wine is 100% whole cluster. Now this wine is utilized with 35% Burgundian oak barrels, 65% of it, or the remainder of this, is in previously used Burgundian oak barrels. This wine is expressing at 13.8% ABV, 404 cases produced, $65 price point. So here we go. Enjoy this in a really nice voluminous Burgundian or Burgundy glass. This is an old-timey, I think, Riedel glass that I found in my collection. I have a lot of wine glasses, but to me it expresses successfully. Let me tell you about the nose as well as a palate characterization, and then I'll give a point score. So a really nice mid-garnet coloration, absolutely beautiful. If this were higher in alcohol, I always like to think about this in terms of that tension point between alcohol and Pinot Noir, for example. Now, if the ABV were higher on this, say 14.8 compared to 13.8, it would express differently. I think in this, I'm getting the fullness of the character of the wine itself. 14.8 is really going to mask some of those characteristics, I think. That's how I've always thought about, especially Pinot Noir is very sensitive to ABV versus other varieties. And so here we go first with the scent characterization. Beautiful mid-garnet coloration. So on this, I'm getting notes of fresh black cherry, clove, purple flowers like lavender, as well as juniper forest. Gorgeous. And next, the palate characterization. Gorgeous acidity to this wine, and expresses as black cherry notes, white pepper, thyme, bay leaf, and graphite for grounded earthiness. And I think all these come together seamlessly. And I struggle with Pinot Noir in terms of, it's a good struggle to have actually, between enjoying this on its own or with food. And I tend to do a bit of both to enjoy and experience the variety and the winemaking style of the producer itself, and to enjoy the variety. And there's many ways of enjoying this wine. Food-wise, I'm thinking about this in terms of roasted pork. I'm thinking still-had trout. I'm thinking really beautiful charcuterie and hard cheeses. A lot of things you can do with this wine. It's absolutely splendid, beautiful. 95 points out of 100 points. I'll put more information on the producer down below. Questions and comments can be listed there. That's where the like button is, so please hit that button. And also the subscribe button is there, so please hit that button in addition, and you'll see the latest videos that I'm producing. In addition to that, you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. And my new podcast is on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Santé.